Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and another live stream on Friday. Hopefully, you guys had a good week in sales. For me, I got to tell you, sales are kind of up and down. I had the down Monday and Tuesday. It was really concerning, as to what's going on, but no panic. Just continue listing. And Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday were super, super strong. So just the kind of the way things have been. You have your ebbs and flows, but at the end of the day, it's about what did you make that week, that month. And ultimately, we can look at all the metrics we want, but how much money was deposited in your account? And that's why we do. I think most of us do this for. Want to kind of let people kind of roll in, but if you're with us with the live, please participate. You guys help make this live stream what it is. I'm just some guy that sells on eBay, so I can't really do more than my diatribe at the beginning and do my best to answer your questions if you have any. If you're watching maybe after the fact, you just couldn't make the live, I get it. I don't always make the lives I want to watch, so it certainly happens. But please comment down below. No matter how you're watching, though, make sure you're hitting the like button. We like to say that if you hit the like button within 24 hours, you're going to get a sale. I don't know how it works, but so many people, in the live will comment, I just got my sale, hitting the like button. So it's a fun thing we do, and we give you a money back guarantee. So the money I charge you for hitting the like button, I'll make sure you get every dime of it back. So the topic at hand is promoted listings. And I still, no matter how many times I talk about it on this channel, I still get the sense from watching other channels and even looking at some of the comments that people make in these videos and lives, that there's still a confusion about really promoted listings. How do they even work? I mean, that's the conclusion I draw based on what I'm reading. And it's simple. Promoted listings aren't going to guarantee you sales, just bottom line. Promoted listings is just another way to separate your item from your competition. So if you have a lot of competition, you need to help your item as much as you can by promoting. That's going to help you, right? So the folks that promote the most have of course, your account health, all those other intangibles we talked about before come into play in that equation as well. And you're then either on page 1 or you're on page 10. Okay, and somewhere in between. Now, you don't want to be beyond page 1 because most buyers don't look beyond page 1. So it's like that analogy we have where you're trying to get your item placed in a supermarket and you don't want it in the back corner, by the deli section. You want it up front by the cash registers. But there's a higher price to pay to get your item placed, and that's just the way it is. You're playing the game. Now, if you're selling items, now each and every one of you, I think, need to determine this. I can't determine it for you. I figured out what works best for me, and that's why you do trial and error. So maybe you don't even need to promote. See, if you have maybe 1 to 5 or 6 people that you're competing against on the same listing, why would you even do it? You're going to be on page 1 anyway, okay? But if you have, I'd say, 10 to 15 people you're competing against or more, then of course, I would think at some level, whether it's the 2% all the way up, I'd go as high as 10%. I wouldn't advise going any higher, to be honest with you. Find what works for you. So if 2 don't work, try 3 or 4 and keep looking to see with a browser that you're not signed in on, okay, and doing searches for some of these items to see where your items are placed in search, okay? Utilizing this, not the word for word title that you use, but typing in what a buyer would type in to find your item, okay? And then you'll see, wow, after scrolling down, I'm at the bottom of page 1 or I'm on page 2, so maybe you need to promote a little bit more, right? But no level of promoting, I did a video 100% promotion last year, no level of promoting is going to fix a bad listing, a bad price, bad photos, bad account health. It may give you a little bit of a bump, but it ain't going to make you at the top of page 1. I've proven that with that particular video. So this live stream is kind of dedicated to, if you have any questions about promoting, if you're still not sure about promoting, how it works, please reach out, ask. I want to help. That's why we do this. We take the time. I was actually in a really good listing zone here for the last couple hours, and it's like, okay, we gotta get ready for the live, but I could have knocked out some more items, but instead I'd rather spend the time with you guys. This is what the channel is. I'm a YouTuber that I do make money on YouTube, but I make most of my money selling on eBay, and that's just the fact. Will that always be the case? Well, I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, I'm making some pretty good money on eBay, and it's because I put a lot of these practices into place. And look, I can't expect everyone to improve their situation, but you got to really want to improve if you want to improve your situation. You can't just wake up one morning and say, I guess I want to do better. You really got to put in the work and the effort to figure out what level you need to be promoting at and all the other things that are attached to your account health. So let's get on to that subject. One other thing I wanted to talk about while we were waiting to come on the live, I was checking out e-commerce bites, and they had a little blurb that was really no surprise to me, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And the title says, eBay expects seller to respond to shoppers in 1 hour. Okay. I know that there was an argument or one side of the coin. People thought that maybe eBay didn't care how long you took to reply to a buyer. And in my case, I felt on the other side of the coin that if sites like Mercari are measuring how fast you take to reply to a buyer, then certainly a site like eBay, with even though we think we see the technology being bad, and it is lately, they have the technology to keep track of how long it takes for you to get back to a buyer. So I'm not at all surprised by that article that was written by Ina Steiner, and it just kind of reinforces what I kind of already knew, that eBay wants you to exercise as good of customer service as you can, and they're putting a time to that. And if you aren't adhering to what they're asking you to do, and I think that's an average. It's not going to be if you're a couple hours late on getting back to someone, it's going to hurt you. I think it's overall based on the number of messages you get from somebody, then you should be replying as fast as possible, because if you can't get back to someone until later, it's not going to hurt you as bad. And I make it a point anyway. I have the app on the phone. You should have everyone here that is selling on eBay, that's serious about selling on eBay, should have your account signed in and on your phone. Okay. And if you get a question, it'll pop right up. If you're in the middle of a movie, wait till the movie's over and answer the question. But on the average, you want to try to be as fast as possible. And we'll see how true that is. I think there's some people that are kind of debating if that's a thing, if that actually was the case. But there's some people that have reported that eBay has told them that they are starting to count that against your account health. So we'll see. We'll just see. Maybe that's going to be something that's introduced in Q4 or whatever it is. But it doesn't surprise me at all if that is the case. So let's see who we have here. We have Brian H. with us. Well, he was with us quite earlier, but hopefully he's still here. We have Marilyn Wilson says, hello, eBay just suggested a 17% rate for overalls.
Wow.
Don't be surprised. You start listing your winter stuff here that eBay is going to jump ahead and try to, again, their goal, and if eBay's watching, let's just be real with each other. eBay's goal is to make as much money as they can for their shareholders. Bottom line. Everything else is secondary. Buyer happiness, then seller happiness comes second and third. And this doesn't surprise me at all. 17% rate for overalls. I'm waiting to see my first 20%. I'm waiting for my first 20%. I haven't seen it yet, but again, it's probably right around the corner. As we get into Q4, eBay will be trying to capitalize on as many listings as possible that have a lot of demand, and I think you're going to see that coming here in Q4. Gail Carlson says, hello, John and Jenna and all the Flippin' family. Hope all had a good week. Yes, good week for sure. Very pleased how the summer went, and I have
say summer went like it It's gone.
Summer's coming up. It's gone. I mean, we have one more week, and that's it. For me, once Labor Day gets here, to me, summer's over. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, in our mind when we were younger, but
I've
when
always
you live in Vegas, the heat don't stop.
Yeah, well, then if that's the case, October is when summer's over. So PTS Treasure says, hello, everyone. So glad this is the topic today. Wrote my question down yesterday. How many people are using the pay-per-click model for promoted? I am not. You're talking about the promoted listings advanced, and that is where you can set keywords. You pay for certain keywords and that type of thing. I am not using it. I've used it only once when eBay offered me a trial at it. I believe it was, a year and a half ago now. And I only reserved that for the larger ticket items that I had at the time. I maybe only had at the time a couple items over $100 in my store. And I made sure that I focused getting those promoted advanced attached to those listings. And they sold. I'm not going to say that they didn't sell, it didn't work, but I'm not trying to set a budget of, say, $10 a day. That translates over to $300 a month. Think of the size of store you can get if you just put that money into $300 a month. Think of the product you can buy to sell on eBay for that. So for me, I don't think that's a model I want to play. Of course, eBay wants you to play that because that equals more money in their pockets. Gail Carlson says, it's getting ridiculous. I sell pinball manuals and parts. They usually suggest 8 to 10%. But
that's insane.
It is. But Gail, don't let it fool you. It's not something, I think a lot of people see that and they kind of feel compelled to, I guess, I was going to do 3, but I guess I'm going to have to do 8 because that's what it's telling me. It almost makes you feel like if you're not putting it at 8, then you're not going to sell your item. Okay. So I would say the formula that I like to have people that are kind of on the fence use with promoted listings, try 3%. Okay. Get off the 2% rail because everyone else is at 2% that feel like they have to promote. Try 3%. Give it a couple weeks. That item doesn't move, bump it up to 5. Keep moving that up, okay, instead of dropping your price down. I mean, if your price is within market, which means you look at the previous or recent past solds within the last 90 days, if that item is selling for what you have it listed for, there's no need to race to the bottom. I would rather bump up my promoted rate because if you bump it up an extra percentage or 2, it's going to cost you less than knocking off $5 off the price, if that makes sense, depending on how much it is. But usually 1 or 2% is only a few cents. 1% of 100, if it's $100 item, 2% is only $2. Okay, compared to dropping $5 off the price.
Yeah.
So it's a math game, guys.
I was doing that today, and it was suggesting crazy numbers like 15%. And I'm sorry, but our cap is 10%. That's it. Period.
Yeah.
End of conversation.
And don't get me wrong. I don't know what you're doing on the other account, but for me, I am when it suggests I have a campaign set, so it's a dynamic campaign to where I would rather be around 7 to 8%. That's just me. But if it's suggesting above 10, then I'll let it set. I'll put it at 8%, but it's going to cap me at 10% because that's what the recommended rate is, above 10%, but it caps me at 10. So on no listing am I ever giving more than that. Another thing with promoted listings that I think a lot of people don't understand, if you sell an item, let's say you sell a $100 item, you may not even be charged the promoted listing rate for that item. It could sell organically. And I've said this before, maybe only a couple times before, but if a buyer is looking for your item and they're sorting it by lowest price plus shipping, and they find it not on best match, okay, but lowest price plus shipping, there's a very good chance they're going to click into the organic listing because your listing actually shows twice. And that happens all the time. When you sort lowest price plus listing, you get the sponsored and the organic. It wasn't supposed to be there, but a lot of people are clicking on the organic and you're not being charged for the promoted listing rate. So I think it's like, we get like 30% organic sales. And when you get an organic sale, you're only paying the final value fee associated with that category plus 30 cents. So take that for what it is. I just think promoted listings, it's a money grab for sure, but It's not going anywhere, and it ain't as bad as I think a lot of people will make you think it is. So Seven Thunder says, I got mine to 4%. I sold some at 9% ad rate, so I put it to 4%. Sold it some. You'll sell it both. Whatever number you feel comfortable with. But just know that the higher you set that number, the more not sales you're going to get, because eBay doesn't buy your items, right? They only promise to show your items, give them more impressions. So boost it in search, right? And of course, more impressions. You have a good listing quality, you're going to get more page views. Now it's up to you to seal the deal with a quality listing, quality price. Maybe the buyer has a question, you wait until tomorrow to get back to them instead of getting back to them right away, which is kind of the other thing we're talking about. I've saved many a sale by getting back to someone like that when they had a question about my item. Seven Thunder says, just because they suggest it does not mean you have to do it. I agree with that. And also, Seven Thunder says, I never use pay per click. I always use pay after sale, where you choose percent after a sale. That's just the regular standard promoted listing rate. And the other money grab, I listed a few items on auction just to kind of see some of the items that were sitting around. They'll be ending on Sunday at like 3 auctions. But they have that promoted listings express where they're charging you $3, $4, $5, right? Boom. Don't matter if it sells. That's the difference between a regular promoted listing rate and this promoted listing express, where they charge you regardless if it sells or not. So if it gets no bids and you put $3.99 is what you're willing to pay eBay for higher exposure on that auction, you're out of pocket that, even if you relist it. So
what if you were to end the list or end the auction before it's over? If there's no bids on it, would they still charge you?
I think they do. They not the final value fee, but I might be wrong on that. But I do I do auctions so infrequently. But that's the one thing I noticed about the express option is that I just think it's ridiculous, really. I mean, I don't know, we can kind of go back and forth on that, but I think auctions are kind of a dead thing anyway for a lot of people. Some people still use them, but most people are using fixed value listings anyway. So it's not really worth kind of diving in a long discussion about it. eBay Life, the daily struggles of an eBay seller, says, hi, John and Jenna and FAE fam. Hope everyone is well. Yes, we're well. Thank you. And then eBay Life says, I run dynamic, uncapped, and a couple percentage above suggested. And so in some categories, that could be quite high. Now, the only way you can pull that off, in my opinion, is if you source properly. You can source in a way that gives you the room to do that, where others source in such a way where they can barely do 2%. And even then, it's kind of cutting into their margins so much that they can't really do it. That's
Tommy said yes, the money is going to be paid up front for express.
Yeah, they hit you for that, even if you cancel the auction on promoted express. But Mark Suddick says, promoted listings work well for me. Thanks again, John and Jenna, for another live. You're welcome, Mark. Thanks for being here for another live.
Thanks, Mark.
Lenny K says, hello all from New Hampshire. And we have Victor Wawiorka's in the house. And we have Ashley Hook. Is it Hook? Let's say it. Say it.
I don't.
Okay,
I don't,
you can't criticize me.
I don't remember, but why don't you just say Ashley?
Ashley.
Don't make a fool of yourself.
But don't. It's too late. It's too many episodes, too many live streams ago. I've already crossed that bridge.
Just say Ashley.
So
welcome,
Ashley.
We love you, Ashley.
Yeah. Biscuit Butt. Thanks for being here, Archie. And Lenny says sales have been on a roller coaster. $100 day, $800 the next. Huh?
I think it's Hooky.
Hooky?
Is it Hooky?
Hockey? Hooky?
She said like cookie.
But Hooky. Like not going to school when you should? Hooky?
Yes.
Okay. Sylvia Hunt says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here, Sylvia. And Lenny K says, Biscuit Butt, nice VHS find. I guess check out Biscuit Butt's channel after we're done here, and you can see all about it. I did see one of his videos, and the thumbnail, I never told him this. I was meaning to talk to him about it. But I'm like, what happened with your face on that thumbnail? I don't know what he did on that thumbnail, but I'm like, oh, gee, Archie, you aged yourself big time.
What did he
So
do?
I don't know. It was like, wow, what did you do? Let's see. AJ13 says I put my store on vacation mode today.
Oh, that one?
That one.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks.
I just made
It
that
almost
face.
looks like he got hit with a bag of nickels before he took that picture, but it looks pretty bad. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, go check out Biscuit Butts channel. But AJ13 says I put my store on vacation mode today for the next 12 days and have already gotten more sales than a normal day. Go figure. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Of course, you still can get sales when you're on vacation, and I've had it.
Yeah.
I think the one time I tried it before, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to do it this way because I kind of felt like I wasn't getting any sales anymore. I kind of felt like at that time it turned my account off. So I decided let's do a method to where I do 5 days handling in 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. And guess what, guys? We're going to be going from Thursday this next week to Monday, Labor Day. We're going to be on a road trip, visiting some friends, and I'm going to be exercising that model similarly, but I'm going to be doing, okay, so we're going to be gone the entirety on the day on Thursday. So I can't do same day because if I get a sale on Thursday, they're going to be expecting me to ship it out on Friday. So I'm going to be doing, I think I'm going to start it with the 2 day, and then on Friday a 1 day, and then the weekend's going to be same day. And
also to add to that, being that we're talking about this trip, there will be no lives on Friday nor Monday. So we are going to change next week to being live on Tuesday.
Well, you can't say next week because we're going to do the live on Monday. This coming Monday is not the holiday.
Okay, he's right.
So, wait, I need to record that. Hold
Shut
on. So, okay, so it's like this. This Monday we're having a live. Then Labor Day, Friday, Labor Day itself, no live. Okay, yeah. I'm still wondering if we're going to do it on Tuesday or if we're just going to skip it all together. You know, these trips wipes me out for some reason.
They do.
We're going to have a 11 and a half hour drive.
On September 5th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m.
Oh, we're
Eastern.
doing it on Tuesday then.
That's what you said.
I said I wasn't sure, but I guess you just called it. So we're doing it.
You said it last night.
Okay.
Make up your mind, man.
Another thing I'm actually wanting to do as well is I want to support smaller channels. In that, if you are someone who actually frequents the chat, and I'll recognize who you are, and you have a channel, and you want to not only get a shout out, we can do that too. But if you want to maybe jump on a live with me for one of the lives we have coming up, then just hit me up at flippingateasy2020@gmail.com. All my social media stuff's down below. The links are down below in the description of this live stream. But if you're someone that's looking,
But are they?
I think they are. And I think also that if you're someone that's never bothered to comment, never bothered to participate in the chat, you got to kind of work your way up if you want to shout out or be on the channel. We do have a couple folks that we've been talking with, and yes. So we are going to be working with them to, I think it's a cool thing to let people kind of get some exposure. Joe from Crazy New York Driver Show did that for me, and I kind of feel like I got to give back. So that's what I want to do. And the Biscuit Bus is 99-1. He's wearing a hat. That was before we went on. So you would have lost that bet.
You would have lost that bet. You better be careful.
Biff Boffo says, when I do random searches in my category, I see lots of stupid overpriced listings promoted to the top. It just hurts the user experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think some people help offset the price that they're spending for promoted listing by bumping up their price, right? And does it work? I don't know. I mean, you see a lot of drop shippers do that. They increase their margins to like 10 to 20% in doing that. Does it work though? I mean, have you seen sold comps at those prices? Ed's with us. Ed the Reselling Writer says, hi, John and Jenna. Thank you for being here, Ed. And we have Art Betzhold says, hello, everyone. And Kim Sharp says, happy Friday, everyone. I'm listening and listing.
Yay.
It's a tongue twister. AJ13 said they're late. It's past 6. That's all I want a full refund. Yeah, we had to get ready for her to get fluffed up a little bit before we jumped on. Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida says, thanks for being here, buddy. And Ping G's with us.
Could really just punch you.
Art Betzold says, having trouble today with listing on the app. Pictures are being lost or deleted. Ooh. See, I kind of,
yeah,
I do use the app to add my photos because I'm outside and I already have the photos done, and it's easier to take the photo with my phone, throw it on photo room, get the background removed, and while I'm in the on the phone, just pull it up on the app and pull the photos over to there, and it works well.
Only thing I do on the app is add my pictures.
Let's see. Honor Squaw says howdy, and then we have the Tampa Bay Picker says hello all, and Fisher Flip says just stopping in to say hello. Well, thank you. Joe Samard says good afternoon. And then Jovial Juggler says, wow, you two look great wearing black.
Well, thank you.
I didn't recall you getting the memo that we're doing black today, but okay.
I had my shirt on first.
I know.
Thank you.
I know. I was doing wardrobe changes before the show.
Yeah, he was, and he tells me that tells you that I'm the one that has to fluff up.
It's behind the scenes, but I'm not going to cause the show to be delayed because of that. That's for sure. Savage Picker says, hello all. Sales picked up a bit the past few days. I've also been cross-posting as well.
Good job. Yeah.
That's great.
That's
and
awesome.
Then Biscuit Bus says, my goal is 10 items listed during this live.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to see your store.
That was a poker bet I'd call. Glenda Bivona says, hi, John and Jenna and all the great peeps in the best live chat and all of YouTube. Well, thank you, Glenda. I appreciate you.
Glenda.
Awesome. And then we have Lawrence Trombley says, let's say you have two top sellers, one with a perfect record promotes at 3%. The other bad record, hardly a top seller, promotes at 11%. Who's going to get shown more and why? Well, I can tell you that from my own experience, if you watch the video I put out over a year ago, it was maybe about a year ago. It was 100% promoted. I took two random items. One was a pair of headphones and something else. Forgot what it was. And I think it was a pair of jeans. And we just slapped 100% on it. Okay. I think on one of the items, I upped the price to see what would happen. And in both cases, I was barely like in the middle of page one. 100% promoted. Okay. And I'm a top rated seller. So I think that the 3% still has a chance to be higher than the 11%. But now guess what? Things have changed a lot over a year. So if I do that same experiment with 100%, am I going to get a different result? It's quite possible. eBay has done a lot of tinkering, and I wouldn't doubt if you slapped 100% on something, it'll go right up near the top now. Kind of makes the video I put out a year ago irrelevant. But I was thinking about it before the show. What if I did a 100% video again to see what that looked like? I might do it. I'm just afraid that, if it's too big of an item, someone's going to go in there.
Do a big item.
Well, I'm not, but I also want to see.
Your fault.
I also want to see the refund, because 100% means this: if I have a $10 item, okay, that means if I sell that item at 100%, I'm paying $10 in promoted listing fees plus the 13 point something percent, right? And that's also that 100% is whatever they paid for shipping, I got to pay eBay. Whatever they pay for taxes, I got to pay for eBay. That's 100%, guys. It's like 113% when it's all said and done for your final value fees. So you might as well have gone to the casino and lost.
Or just flushed it down the toilet.
And for me, it's like the idea that eBay would even make an option of 100% is just really crappy.
They want somebody to mess up, and instead of putting 10%, add an extra zero, and boom.
Right. How many times you made a mistake? I mean, mistakes happen all the time. So No One Design says, hey, John and Jenna, 8 more days of
Shalami Shamich.
Yeah, Shalami Shamich. Jerry Johnson says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. We have Bling Bling Factor Australia. Carolyn says, hi, John and Jenna and FAE family. We have TJ Davis says, God bless. God bless you, too.
God bless you.
And we have the great Tommy Bernard podcast says, wait, so promoted listings don't make the person turn on the computer, search for an item, click on it, and hit buy? Mind blown. I think some people feel like all they got to do is what eBay recommends, and the sales, no matter what they're selling, are just going to start pouring through the computer, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And unfortunately,
We
it
wish
doesn't
it
work
was
that
like
way.
that,
It doesn't
but
work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
Mike Gertis says, promoted listings is odd. I've done 100% and that's not number one. Why would eBay place me one and take all my money? Just got a sale or just got sale. Well, I think that if they've revised their algorithm to try to promote the people that are promoting higher, you should be at the top spot for 100%, because ultimately they want you to sell your item more than you do, because you're not going to get anything. In fact, you're going to be paying them more than what you made on the sale, and they want nothing. If eBay could get 100% of all the money made on eBay, boy, can you imagine that? But who would stick around to do that? Fisher Flips says, had an Iron Maiden band shirt removed last night. eBay saying it's a counterfeit. I'm now in eBay jail and haven't had a single sale all day.
How do they know without touching, looking? So
Fisher Flips, do me a favor, because this is kind of what happened with the shoes on the other account. Go and check the message that they sent you. If eBay sent you, okay, this is a warning, since you may not have known, we're taking down the item and nothing's being done to your account. Okay. Now go into your metrics, your seller level, click on that and look for your defects. And if there's a defect attached to that because they stepped in for some reason to give the buyer a refund, then what you need to do is, watch the video I put out the other day. Go in and get a hold of eBay and have them remove the defect, because they can't tell you nothing's going to happen to your account.
But there's no buyer. It's not a bought item.
It could be a buyer. I mean, I don't know if there is or not.
It could have been somebody just maliciously reporting your item as counterfeit.
Yeah, but you could sell the item successfully and get a takedown notice, and it's like, okay, what's this for? And you're going to get a defect.
We've gotten notices after the item has already been sold, paid for, shipped, and delivered. And then they decide to go in and take down your listing. And I just look at him and I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Well, glad it sold.
Yeah. But make sure you're not getting a defect for that. If they're telling you nothing's going to happen to your account in the email, then I think there's times where it's really worth spending your time to get a hold of a rep when you're dealing with possible defects. And I think there's certainly a correlation between that defect or that warning from eBay and a slowdown in sales.
Yeah.
I've seen it many times, and it's happened too many times for me to think it's a coincidence. No One Designs says, hey, Jenna, nice Baker Girl t-shirt.
It's a biker, honey. B-I-K-E-R.
Oh, okay. Biker Girl. Okay.
It's not a biker shirt, but thank you.
Miss I Spy says, hi, yes. Took my promoted down to 4 after fees, getting crazy, high at 12%, frustrating. Well, it's only frustrating if you go along with it. Stand your ground, draw a line at whatever number that it is. And, if you need to move it up because your sales are slowing down a little bit, then move it up a little bit. But find that line where you're not going to cross. Shalami says, this live must be the Vegas MC edition.
What does that mean?
Motorcycle Club.
Oh.
Kim Sharp says, I'm in the process of listing 500 Halloween costumes and have not promoted. This is a fishing shirt.
This is fishing shirt. And mine is proud to be an Irish.
There you go. You're a warrior.
No, what does that say?
I don't know.
Read it.
Looks like a harp to me. It says nothing on there.
What does my back say?
My blood. Yeah, I don't know. It's all. Look, we're on a live stream. I'll look at it.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it matters to somebody, but right now it doesn't matter. Okay.
Shalami Shamich wants to
Kim
know.
Sharp says, I am in the process of listing 500 Halloween costumes and have not promoted any of them. They're selling like crazy because it's seasonal.
Yeah.
People are looking for it. And I'm willing to bet that there's people that haven't put theirs up yet.
Mm-hmm.
So the level of competition you're dealing with just isn't there. But as we get into the end of September, you're going to get more competition. And then you might want to, especially if you see those sales start to slow down. But I think you did
just
good.
pay close attention to those listings, particularly when they get closer, as they get closer. Because see, you're ahead of the game by listing those items, and the other people's are just sitting in their death pile, and they haven't even touched them or looked at them for that matter.
Yeah. And, it just, again, promoted listings is about competition, and you're getting ahead of the game. That's good. It's good you're doing that. But be mindful that if you still have inventory and things start to slow down, that's what's happening. Other people are getting the jump on you. Tommy Bernard says, because quality of listing also counts into placement, regardless of promoted percent, also search results will be different for every buyer based on a plethora of criteria. Yes. One criteria is the location of the buyer from the seller. It does help, believe it or not. There's just, I don't know how eBay has that set up, but that does play a role in what the buyer sees. And if you do a search from one search to the next, you're going to see that the placements seem to change a little bit. So it just, there's no manual or book that tells us why this is happening, but all we can do is sort of take notice and know that, your search results, you got to do multiples to kind of see where you average out. Where do you usually come up? Is it page 1? Is it high on page 1, low on page 1? Or am I usually stuck on page 2 or 3? That kind of thing. And we have Christian Mallon says, is this any good? I have no idea. ROAS 10.00.17 points versus last 31 days. I don't know what that means. But if you can explain what that means, I'll be glad to try to answer that. Let's see. Lisa's in the house. Hit the like button. Thank you for being here, Lisa.
Something about the percentage.
I know, but it's like, it doesn't, roast means, it makes me hungry. I think of a roast. ROAS. So I don't, ROAS 10.07. That means absolutely nothing to me. I'm sorry. I just don't know what that means. Ping G says, I resisted using promoted listings since eBay first introduced them. My sales were slow, so I decided to try at least 3% starting September 2022. It has helped to increase sales. I don't promote at all. Well, you did by going 3%, but maybe you didn't promote. But I'm thinking that you see that there is a difference by promoting just at a small rate as compared to not promoting. It does help. Callie Deb says, I was in chat with an eBay rep for 2 hours yesterday because my seller hub was full of system errors and I haven't been getting sales. It won't get fixed right away, but they are working on it. They give you that 72-hour speech, I bet, right? Good
That's
time
so
to just keep listing, though.
Yeah.
You can't control what eBay does on the back end, but you can control what you do with the time that you're down. Like if you get suspended, right? Like I think Fisher Flips got suspended, to say, okay, well, I get 3 days off now. I think that's the wrong mentality. Get your items in drafts ready so that when it's time to go. And when they lift that suspension, it's a good idea to end item sell similar if any of you are suspended, because it does take time once that suspension is lifted to get your items exposure. But if you end those items and sell similar, it's much faster. Tommy Bernard says eBay only recognizes business hours of like 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, though. So I call BS. No one operates 24/7 to answer messages. Oh, as far as that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that's about. Now, would it surprise you at all that eBay wouldn't maybe consider that and just said, well, it's going to happen. You're going to get a message in the middle of the night and you're not going to answer it until hours later. But overall, we're going to take your average.
Yeah.
So, are they factoring that? I certainly wouldn't surprise me that.
I mean, it's just common customer service.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you, Tommy, you don't really care about that part of it, but answering messages is kind of, for us being in the customer service world, it's important to the buyers.
I was thinking about this, and we've come from a place where Struggle City was what we did on eBay. We just struggled, and we got in front of you guys and tried to put a happy face on, and we did talk about our struggles, but it was really, really a rough period of time. And now that we've turned the corner, we're not in Struggle City anymore when it comes to our sales. We have a perspective. We remember what it was like when that was kind of happening. And I got to tell you, eBay does want you to do all these things, right? They want the quality of listing, like Tommy's talking about in another comment. He was talking about it. They want your quality of listing. They want your good photos. They want you to give a good price, right? But at the end of the day, none of that matters if you don't have good stuff to sell. And we say that on this channel all the time. I'd like to think that it's because Tommy has great stuff to sell. He doesn't go through a lot of the stuff that you're going through. I've got good stuff to sell, so I no longer have to deal with a lot of the stuff that you guys are dealing with. And it's, if I ever had to go back to that, and who knows, that could happen tomorrow for all I know, knock on particle board. But I have the perspective on both sides, and I know that you really have to focus on the intangibles just to get the average stuff to sell. If you have great stuff, you don't have to do nearly as much to make that iPhone sell, right? So
we know what it's like to have a store that's sucking ass and excuse me, nobody's buying, but we also are now coming out into, a great season where we've been succeeding so well that you can't forget about your struggle or where you came from. It's very important.
Yeah, when my sales, like on Monday and Tuesday, when my sales are not there, I mean, it's like I get kind of nervous in a good way that I need to bust more butt and get more stuff up. It gets me motivated to list through it, if that makes sense. But I think the less demand your item has, the harder you have to work on eBay to make it work. If that makes sense. And I think there's some point where like one item, or like, I guess I can't even speak today, but you get to a point where no matter how bad the item is, you cannot get out from under that. If your items are that bad, you can't do anything on eBay to make it work. I'm just going to break.
And let's just be real. There's some, outlandish things that sell on eBay, and there's people selling, let's say T-shirts that are so worn in and personalized and cut here and cut there and holes there and holes here. People are selling just everything and anything on eBay, and it sells. It's just a matter of, you've got to keep your account in good standing. You've got to have all the stupid little criterias. Mm-hmm. If you don't have even just a little bit of them, you're not going to do very well.
Well, shout out also real quick to Vicky and Katie. They were hosting a local little get-together party yesterday evening for resellers, and there's like 30 or 40 people that attended. Archie was there. I think Sunny Las Vegas was there. We had Carrie and Dawn, American Arbitrage, Lady Arbitrage, and Rally Roots were there. And so a lot of different resellers were there as well, and just some good fellowship, hanging out outside in the backyard with a thunderstorm going on.
Yeah, a thunderstorm going on at the same time, and he was in heaven.
Oh, I loved it. It's fun. So we had a good time, good conversation, and but shout out to them. Check out their channel also. I think they have Katie and Vicky on YouTube. But don't do that until we're done here, because we still got a good solid hour to hang out with you guys. eBay Life says, I think 1 hour is a little unrealistic. We are not robots that work 24 hours a day. We need to get at least a few hours of sleep. Let's hope that that's not a thing. It came up on e-commerce bites. You can check it out. For me, I would say the fair thing is to give someone at least 12 to 24 hours. I mean, let's just be real. Anytime you ask eBay for help, they always tell you 24 to 72, right? Mm-hmm. So why are they holding us to a different standard?
Right,
so,
an hour. I mean, yes, I say get back to them as soon as you can. Whether if you're sleeping, obviously you're not going to be able to get to them in an hour unless you're an early bird, which we are not. You've got to set realistic guidelines. An hour is ridiculous, and shout out to those who are able to do those things.
Yeah. And if you're one of those sellers that just thinks that customer service really isn't that important, and you have just, when you look at your overview, you have like dozens of like messages that are waiting for you to read, that's going to hurt you guys. I mean, that might be one small contributing factor to why maybe your sales aren't as good as you think that they should be, because you're not in eBay's eyes getting back to the buyer at all, or in a timely manner. And those buyers who are seriously asking questions and maybe considering, they have the page view, they're reaching out to you, and you don't seal the deal, well, that could be that as well.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So for instance, today, somebody messages me on the secondary account asking in gibberish, might I add, if this it was a Keurig carafe that we're selling by itself because the machine didn't work. So the carafe.
You still have that?
Yes, we do. Wow. I made sure.
Okay.
And he's asking, and like I said, I had to dissect the wording because it was terrible. But anyway, he's basically asking if that carafe is going to work for newer model Keurigs. There's this really cool thing called Google. And no, I didn't say that, but I broke it down in a much more professional manner. It didn't sound like I was being snarky, but that's what I wanted to say, so I didn't get back to him in an hour because I saw the message originally and I just wanted to rip him through the phone and strangle his neck, because it's like, do the work. Why do we have to? We have all the information in the listing.
Yeah. Who knows why? I mean, buyers
you
don't
wanted
read.
to say something. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I was going to go to the next comment, actually.
Oh.
We have Soul Step says, me and another seller are the only two selling this product from the UK. Shall I promote or be a little cheaper? If you're the only two on that type of item, now remember, you might be the only two on that model number. You might be the only two on maybe that brand, but what is your competition for that type of item? So I don't know what a good example is. Let's say this scanner, okay? Well, if you're the only two off of this brand, okay, well, there's about 10 other brands that sell this same kind of thing. Well, yeah, you'd want to promote because it's not so much about the brand that you're on.
It's about the device.
It's about whatever function it's trying to achieve. So broaden that a little bit. If you're still like 2 to 3, 4 people, 4 listings, then there's no need to promote. At that point, you want to try to find, okay, what is my competition doing? How do their photos look? How do I improve mine to look better than theirs? How's their price? All the little intangibles like that. What does your title look like? Are you putting your keywords near the front and not the back? Are you putting an off-brand title of the brand in the beginning of your title? I think that you need to remove brand names from your title that aren't something someone's going to search for.
Yeah.
So just something to consider there.
Yeah. If it's some off-brand thing, don't put it in the front of don't put it in the first 5 words, put it at the end, or don't put it at all. Just put it in the, item specifics, whatever.
Shalami says, got a few cha-chings right before I was going to hit the like button. Now I'm afraid to hit the like button.
Hit the like. You need more. We like cha-chings.
Well, we knew you were going to do that. So awesome for you. Gail Carlson says, now I know what pay per click is. I'm not using it. No, don't use it.
Yeah, don't use it.
Certainly not. I think that's probably, let's say, okay, you have a large quantity of this particular item. Maybe you've got a large wholesale pallet of these $30 to $40 items, and you're trying to move them faster. They're not really moving that well. You know what? I would do it for that listing. Set a budget of maybe $5 to $10, maybe not even so much, $2 to $5 per day, and get them listed, right? So that budget is your daily budget for that listing. Maybe something like that. You're trying to move a lot of things. I was considering doing that for these cases, but I didn't need to do that. They just started selling pretty well. We're almost out of them. Christian says, I lose 22.7% with listing fees and final fees and advertising. Track postage is 15%. So before you even add in the cost of goods, you're at 37.5%, depending on how good you're able to source. You know, my thing is I'm a little bit under 50% is my everything, cost of goods, everything is a little under 50%. So I'm running at about a 50% margin. And I think I have to go back and go through my books over the last 3 months because I just kind of haven't done that. I'm kind of behind. But I think it could be even better than that over the last 3 months. That's how good it's been this summer. PTS Treasure says yesterday's expressions panel survey was all about advertising, listings, brand recognition for your store and outside platform. Got to put in my 2 pennies. Well, I'm wondering what you might have asked. That's if you want to share that. Sylvia Hunt says, hi, John. eBay asked for fix something on my post, but doesn't tell me what it is. How am I going to know? Fix something.
Yeah, basically I think what she's asking is she has a listing that she listed and it's the eBay. So I guess the question is, when did eBay step in? Was it while you were listing? Like usually after you listed it?
But usually you get an error that will lead you to know what you need to fix. Like earlier today, I was on the phone, I added the photos and was launching the listing and it said, you need to give a price. Okay, I guess that'll help. So I directed me to go and forgot to put a price.
I did that too today.
Yeah, so
but mine wasn't.
But it'll usually tell you why it can't end the listing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, maybe elaborate so we know what you mean.
We have Tanya in the house. So glad I made
Tanya.
it. Hello all. Thanks for being here. And Carol C says hi, Jenna.
Hi, Carol.
We have Brian Barrett from Dallas, and it's 112.
Oh, God.
What do we got, 78 right now?
No, we're not in no 70.
This thing says, I swear my computer for some reason thinks I'm in California. I don't know why.
It's 101.
Victor Wawiorka says, approximately 15 years since I've done an auction listing. It's idiotic to auction anything unless you totally don't care or it's garbage anyway. So I have some items that are sitting that I bought in the last 4 to 5 months, and it's like, okay, they're taking up space that I want back. By now, I think they should have sold, and I'm just wanting to move from them. So I threw them on. I think I 3 to 4x what I put into them, and it's still relatively cheap. And we're going to see, just as an experiment, how that works. So,
see, Ashley's right there. Next comment.
It's Hooky.
I don't know why we cannot get that right, but I got it. I guessed. Right.
Well, if your last name ain't Smith, there's a good chance I'm going to botch it. Miss I Spy, auctions express fees been stung a few times. No more for me. Right. And then Alan Thompson says, hello, John and Lenny. I'm now on the managed payments.
Hi, I'm Lenny.
Lenny. Wow.
Dave
says, I have been having roller coaster sales too. Crazy.
Yeah.
And Biscuit Butts talking about that photo of him. That picture was after John yelling at me for not listing enough. Oh, wow.
I wouldn't doubt it.
See, Ashley says, I promote a flat rate of 10%. That's it. I sell vintage clothing only, and I'm able to source low enough where the 10% has worked well for me.
Yeah.
Right.
See, get where you're comfortable, and it works out for you.
And that 10% helps you give yourself a little advantage over maybe similar types of items where people aren't willing to go that high. Mm-hmm. She Shed Shopper.
I love that.
Hi, John and Jenna. You look relaxed and cool today. Great topic. I'll refuse to give eBay the extra promo fees. My sales are good. I'm sure they could be better. So that's the message I tend to get a lot, is that my sales are fine. I don't promote. And the bottom line is, if you're happy with the way your sales are going, then continue doing what you're doing. But what have you thought about if you tried 3% and it boosted your sales by 20%? Would that be worth it? The math says it is. So if you're interested in bringing that number up and how much you're making from your sales, I think it's a question we all need to ask ourselves if we're not promoting. Do we want to see an increase in revenue? And of course, eBay's not buying your items. There's no guarantee that if you promote higher, you're going to get sales, but it's about getting exposure. So eBay will give your listings more exposure. And if you have an item that has some kind of demand, it's going to sell. And if you want to wait 2 weeks for that same item to sell without promoting, I guess good. But you could also find that you're going to get faster flips when you're promoting as well. That's another positive to it. And then She Shed says, it just burns my butt to think about giving them more money. Mm-hmm. Have a great weekend, everybody. How about clicking the like button for a sale?
Thank you.
But I think we have to come to the realization, this is the game now. This is the way that eBay has set up their site to get you more sales. Mm-hmm. And I think some people that are now promoting that have talked themselves into playing the game. I would say more often than not, those folks are happy they caved in and started doing it. And I'm not here to promote eBay. I mean, I want to see eBay succeed. I hate the idea that they've done this to us to where we have to play this promoted game to get sales. But the reality is, this is what we have to work with. And so if you continue to be resistant to this change, you're going to see that it's going to affect your sales.
I mean, you never know. It could get to a point where you won't be able to have a listing without any kind of promoted.
Well, don't give eBay any
ideas.
I
mean, I know you don't like
Don't give eBay any ideas. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you just don't know.
Well, it's ridiculous.
It is. I agree.
We got Larry Todd's in the house. Thanks for being here.
Sorry, I'm late. I'm a bad Larry Todd. You are a bad Larry.
He had an identity crisis and couldn't make it on time. Ed says, gotta love the bickering between Noon and Jenna for simple things.
He corrected it for John.
Call me High Noon. John, okay. Shalami Shamich says, just do a live on September 8th to make it easier. This will give you guys time to recharge.
When is September 8th?
That's the Friday. I think we should do that. I think we should just say, okay, we'll come back on the 8th. Because I don't know about you guys, but on the long road trip, I think 11 hours is a long road trip.
That's a long road trip, especially
it wipes you, especially when you're old like us, right?
Yeah.
So,
you're old.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. Tommy says, can we just ring the doorbell during the live and join you? Sure, come on up. We don't have to worry about either of the carriers ringing the doorbell because they were on their game today and got here before the live.
Yeah,
so
both of so we had the what is not replacement, but the what's the other word for him?
The regular mail guy?
No, when he's off work, what is his name? When our regular mail carrier is not here, who?
The backup guy.
Backup. That's the word.
I was looking for.
No, I wasn't looking for his name. I couldn't think of the word.
Okay. Let's see. Woody Hayes says, I can't afford to give free shipping. Same next day shipping. Pay the already 13% fee for eBay and do promotions. When I get moved to Florida, we're 100% going to Amazon. Adios, eBay. So now, if you're doing free shipping, you should have it built into the price to where, okay, the market says that this item is $100. Okay, you do free shipping, set it at $100, or you can say, okay, I'm going to set it at 75. This will usually ship out for about 20 to 25 bucks, maybe 30. So depending on where the buyer is from where you're at, you may see that you're going to be lower than the $100 market price because they're the next state over, or you may not get the sale because it's 105 for them and they're out like on the other side of the country. So that's kind of how you have to play with your shipping, whether you do free shipping or calculated. That shouldn't figure into what you're promoting. You shouldn't be losing money if you're using free shipping versus calculated. It should all be about the same at the end of the day. And if not, you're doing free shipping, that means you're priced too low and you're not within the market, if that makes sense, right? Mike Gertis says, I do that with oversaturated games, and yes, it works to charge a couple dollars more to be at the top. Mm-hmm. Because remember, again, if you're stuck at page 2 and someone's looking for an item, they're going to find what they need for the other 20 plus items that come up on page 1. So just know that your item's never going to see the time of day if you're not being competitive, if you have a lot of competition. Lisa says, listing and listening to. Awesome. We have Sawtooth Outpost. Says, I recently went back to a full-time job, so have been missing the lives. Old job I had before I did eBay. I'm trying to keep eBay going the same and add this income for a few months. So far, so good. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to do what we got to do, right?
Got to do what we got to do.
But I say that in, okay, have you considered changing what you're selling? And sometimes it comes down to that. I would be doing what you're doing right now had I not done that. I'd be looking, of course, I wouldn't be able to go back to my old job because it's not possible.
The doors are closed. It's now a Tesla showroom.
Yeah. But I do like reselling. I really enjoy doing it. And I think if that's not working, if selling a certain type of thing isn't making the sales, it's time to find something that is. And that's the tough part. That's why I really firmly believe we have a lot in common with private detectives. We have to try to find what this is and does it have value, and we're constantly researching this, researching that, researching our competition, researching what sells versus what doesn't. You really got to be on top of it. If you're not willing to put that effort in, because, just like, I guess I'll just keep selling this.
I always wanted to be, a investigator for the police department.
Well, there you go.
But now, why do that and get all the degrees and stuff when I can just do it on eBay?
Well, you have to. If you're doing it right, if you're doing it right from yard sale to listing, you're doing some level of research on your stuff. Kimberly Sweet says, hi, John and Jenna. I just got a call from the owner of our storage unit to come check for water damage. Wow. We got to check our inventory. So, wow, get that stuff checked.
No, I hope that it's all right.
Hopefully there's some kind of insurance in that. Mary Shaw says, I use auctions for very unusual items and pay no upfront promotion fees. They don't sell on auction, and I put them in eBay, put them in buy it now with everything else and promote at 5%. Auctions are fun. So if you've done all the investigation, so the private eye, I got this item, there's no comps, sold comps, no one else is selling this type of item. Then you go on to Google, maybe do a Google lens to see if there's something for it. Maybe WorthPoint, another website, that you can see. You're not going to get all the details unless you pay for their subscription, but find if this thing has comps somewhere. Has it sold anywhere? What is the value online? And if not, you're kind of forced to just put it up on auction with good keywords, good photos, and allow the market to take care of what it's worth. Rosie Games says, hey, John and Jenna, nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Nice to see you, Rosie.
Susan K says, hello, John and Jenna, FAE. Sarah's in the house. Thanks for being here, Sarah. Tana says, just because you promote it 100% doesn't mean it'll even get promoted at all or where it'll place. It's way more complex than just a number, right? Mm-hmm. Which is why in that video I made, it just never worked. I didn't sell the item. I had it up for a little bit, both items for a little bit. You'd think it would have just, boom, sold. I've found that the price of an item is going to be more effective than your promoted listing. I sold an item a couple times this week where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just price on the low side of the comps, and boom, sold. And I probably could have sold it for higher and waited a little longer for the right buyer. But, for me, it's about flipping it and all that. So you got to kind of find the right balance between price and your promoted rate. Elite Feet Plus says, just wanted to say hi while on a mini vacation in Eagle, Idaho to get some Street Outlaws, no Prep King racing and get my thumbs up in.
Yes.
Okay. Well, awesome.
I want to go to Eagle. I have friends that live there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's odd. That's a very small town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fallen Jazovsky says, I accidentally...
It's Fallon.
Fallon. I accidentally put my hat up for a bid and I didn't put a reserve price. I'm not mad about it considering I'm now new to eBay selling world. The hat right now is currently at $450. Yeah, I mean, how much did it cost you? I guess it's not a disaster.
Yeah.
If it costs you $40, then you're gonna be out.
Yeah.
Mike Camparelli says, hi all, sorry to be late. Just got back from a private pick. Couldn't pull myself away. Got some great stuff and pretty reasonable price.
Awesome.
How do you get get invited for a private pick?
I know. Who do you got to know to be, a private picker?
I never get that kind of thing.
I know.
Fisher Flip says, no defect, but sales have stopped almost like they're punishing me. I think that happened to me when I was having those problems with the Vero of things that shouldn't even have been taken down, like the Proactive acne cream that you can get over the counter. You try to say it was a prescription kind of thing. Well, that did have a slight effect on my sales. And there's no way to prove any of this. But I think after a while, us sellers know when something just ain't right. We correlate, this happened to my account.
Fishy.
Yeah, this happened to my account with what's going on now. And this has happened before and the same things happen. How many times does that have to happen to you before you can say, well, there's obviously a link between this and what I'm selling? Now, again, selling iPhones, you're not going to have as much of an impact than if you're trying to sell I don't know what, bracelets or something like that, random stuff like that. Jay Bain says, I use my personal eBay account for my store. Do you recommend an eBay business account? Not necessary. For me, I don't even know what I have. The last time I called eBay, they couldn't tell me if mine was personal or business.
Nobody can tell us what our accounts are.
Yeah, I have a screwed up account.
Yeah.
From what I understand, if you have it set for personal, it's the listing process gives you more options. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I think if you have it set for business, it's set up differently. But correct me if I'm wrong on that. Simple, beautiful. Are eBay authenticators ever wrong? And does eBay care if they're wrong? Okay.
Don't even get me started.
We had a really good conversation with, what are the names?
Well, it was Katie, but
no. With
no. I'm trying to read his name tag. Yeah. I'm trying to look at his
a couple young guys that are local to Vegas that really specialize in t-shirts and they have a local shop and everything. And they've said on multiple occasions that eBay is wrong quite often with their authentication process. And you got to look at it like this. No matter whether it's Vero, whether it's authentication, you're just a number, guys. No one here is special. Okay, there's been big channels that have been removed and suspended over things, and you're just a number at the end of the day. eBay, to me, what does that mean? I don't think that eBay cares. When they're looking at us as a number, how can you care? So my answer is no, that they don't care if they're wrong. I hate to say that. I know eBay's throwing darts at me right now with my picture on the bulletin board that's somewhere in their lunchroom, but I'm just being honest with how I feel. Unfortunately, I don't think eBay cares for that. Shalami says, black t-shirt with obscured crosses and writings is considered biker. You guys should get matching tattoos, like Jen should get flipping and John should get Ain't Easy.
Yeah, right. He would never get a tattoo.
I don't write on myself. I'm not against those who write on themselves, but I just don't do that. Duncan VR says, help to many sales again. I have an addiction ordering more stock from my suppliers when I have tons of ephemera here, 10 years of back stock unlisted. Am I alone here? Now, let me guess. Are you buying more stuff because maybe you're afraid of missing out on finding something really, really cool, and you've looked at the stuff that you have and it's just okay, and you really are trying to get that really, really cool stuff? Or I get why you want to buy more stuff, but I think you really got to find a way to get that stuff listed.
I think a lot of resellers have that same problem until you get to a point to where it's just too overwhelming and you're on the verge of quitting because you've got a room or a garage filled with stuff and you now have nowhere to put it because you've maxed out where you can store it. I mean, storage is huge for a lot of us. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm
a personal believer that there's nothing wrong with having back stock.
Yeah.
No, what happens if you run into a run of weeks and months where you can't find anything to sell? Well, you're not going to be able to be shut out because you have this stuff here that you've had sitting. All the while you're looking, you can get this stuff listed. I think there's nothing wrong with having backstock. But at the point where you just have so much and it's just causing space limitations, and you should be listing it, but you just don't want to because you're trying to find that next cool thing, I think that's kind of a problem. So I don't know. The answer is there. You just got to be willing to do it. Get that stuff up. Blindfold says, evening all. Thanks for being here. And then Mavjag Maverick says, I recently saw
bold finds. Where are you coming up with these words?
What are you?
You said blindfold.
Did I say that?
It's bold finds, honey. Where are you reading? Are you reading from the script over there?
Yes, I am. I guess that's how I'm running this live, with a blindfold. I apologize.
I'm afraid
Bold
to get
finds. Blindfold. Wow, what the heck? All right, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm on Mavjack Maverick now. I recently saw that some listings had an asterisk before the title that sold before mine. So I tried that while listing 10 items yesterday and have sold 3 of them already. Well, eBay's come out and said, best practice is don't use characters or things like that in your listing. It could be that there's other aspects of the listing that maybe got them to get it to the price, the photos. There's so many account help.
I mean, in just my opinion, I would not put any special characters in the title, because if you're looking at it from a buyer's eyes, they're not going to put those things in their search.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Just I would say not. Yeah. I mean, if it's not something that someone's going to search for, I know we want to emulate what other people are doing that are getting sales. But there's so many things. Like, someone asked me to look at their store. I can only look at so many things. I have no idea what their account health is. I don't know what they're promoting at. I don't know a lot of things. They could be like one bad listing away from being suspended. And I'm sitting there trying to look at their listings, which are all fine. And the critical information that I don't know is what's really holding them back. So they might be top rated plus. They might have perfect everything for account health, and you really can try to emulate people, but you really can't emulate the entire way because there's just so many things you don't know. Treasure Maze says, I am in eBay jail too. Listed a used USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier t-shirt. They said it is counterfeit, but a store on eBay is selling many. Yeah, we have been in that boat. If someone goes in and reports you as being a counterfeit, or that item as being counterfeit, just like what they're going to take it down. Yeah. I mean, sadly, it's more common than you think, but you just got to move past it. If Lisa Finds Vintage Stuff says, hi, I really like catching you on Mondays and Fridays now. I miss you guys. If I miss you guys. You have really helped me, and I'm out of the eBay doghouse, and I'm now on top rated seller. Yes, go Lisa. A lot of people think that's overrated. I really don't, because if you're top rated as compared to above average, that speaks to your account health, and that does impact your search. Shalami says, I don't know, Tommy. I don't have that problem because I have a countermeasure to prevent that from happening. I have no idea what you're talking about, so we're going to skip on. Tommy Bernard says, I think customer service is great, should be a priority. I personally just ignore questions already in the listing, gladly answer a necessary question. No joke, I get 50 to 100 messages a day sometimes. Wow. And I'm glad and thankful that I don't get that many. I probably get half dozen to 20 range, just depending on the buyer. Sometimes buyers just want to talk to you like they're your best buddy. Tommy Weber says, finally had an awesome week. It's like an off and on switch. Hello, everyone. Well, thanks for being here, Tammy. I'm sorry. Of course, my vision, I need to go get it checked. I just got it checked not too long ago. But that says Tammy, not Tommy. So thanks for being here, Tammy. Yeah, sometimes it can feel like you're on a roller coaster ride. It's up and down with the sales. You just got to stick with what you can control. Tommy says, asking me mileage on shoes or something I spent a ton of time putting in description or photos. These are problem buyers. Yeah, and I blame part of that on eBay, because they make it so that you have to, when you're in the app, you have to click on a link just to show the description. They don't make the description information part of the actual first information you see on the listing in the app. You have to, some people don't want to click into a link. It says item description. They just skip it and kind of read down, and they don't see what they're looking for. So they reach out and ask a question. Fart Sack Jack says customer service is definitely a place to pay attention. Yes. And then we've got Shaft in the house. Thanks for being here, Mike. Big shout out to the Millers. Yes. Be seeing you on Sunday at the golf course. Christy Miller says, I'm new. I found you guys from Let's Do Lunch. Do you have a video on when you changed your strategy? Yeah, I think if you kind of go back a few months when we did videos back in February of this year, I think I spoke to it. So there's a lot of videos from that point on to now where I really start talking more with more confidence because things were really consistent after February for us. Josh Galt, there's Josh. I'm late, but I'm here. Hit the like, everyone. Let's get the likes over 100. Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully we're there. I'm kind of late, but we're catching up. But thanks for being here, Josh. The Disgruntled Octopus says, morning. Hope you both are well. Yes, we're very well. Shalami says, for some odd reason, Michael Telesio, I read that as a big shout out to the Milfers. Wow. And then Michael says, Shalami is crazy. Welcome to the chat, Michael. Anytime Picker Roman says, Archie has a speaker at yesterday's meeting. He mostly spoke about fishing for women.
No, he didn't. He was right with us.
And then Tammy says, I cannot believe the sellers that don't respond. Yeah, just, for me, how many times do I get a reply from a buyer and they say, wow, thank you for getting back to me so quickly. Mm-hmm. That sets a good first impression. I think we've talked about this before, but your buyer doesn't know you from Jack, okay? Or Fart Sack Jack for that matter. Fart Sack Jack.
I know, he's here.
Yeah. So your buyer doesn't know who you are. And I think if you don't get back to them, they have a serious question. Maybe they're on Tommy's listing and they didn't bother to read the description. They have a serious question. They really want to buy your item, but they're not going to do it. They don't want to deal with the return. So they're going to wait for you only so long before they move on. But if you get back to them in a fast manner, that's like, wow, I feel more comfortable in who I'm dealing with because they're on it. Right? They're going to get back to me if I have a problem. I'm not going to have to wait because people start thinking about the bad experiences that they've had. And when your behavior, your lack of reply kind of falls into that experience of not getting a reply or getting a crappy reply or not being attentive to what they're asking, then they tend to move on because they don't want to deal with that experience again. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm trying to get some more folks that's not Shalami or Sandwich in here.
You're gonna.
Michael says, what's the cheapest way to send electronics to Asia? Post office wanted $400 insured.
Don't do it.
So if you're sending electronics to, say, Manila, the Philippines, for instance, just as a wild guess, you're better off going to Pirate Ship. Go to Pirate Ship. Never go and pay the counter price. So, Michael, go into pirateship.com and create a free account and go in and use their international shipping rates. I guarantee you're going to pay a lot less than that for most things, unless you're sending a...
Never pay full price for postage or for shipping labels. There's no reason for it. There's plenty of sites out there that will give you discounts.
Here's another YouTuber we met last night at the
Mikey!
function. Yes, Mikey Bags of Money. He showed up to the function with a bag, and I was all excited. I thought he had money in there, and he didn't have any money in there. Jason E. says, I'm opted out of international shipping program. I've noticed anything still listed international does not get seen very much.
Oh my gosh, we look at Poppy.
Let's see. PTS Treasure says the survey was really about which format was most appealing. My personal option about advertising wasn't asked for.
Yeah.
Okay. Richard Spinewski says, hi, John and Jenna. Anyone out there know if Canada is included in eBay International Shipping Program? They are. I have an offer for something, but I don't want to accept it if they're not. They are. They are.
I think you said.
Idea Pad says, does anyone still do Whatnot, or is Temu the new fad? I hope not. Temu is, okay, I got to be careful.
Yeah.
We ordered some items from Temu, and we ended up sending most of it back because it was just not good quality. They have nice photos. They harass you to death once you sign up to buy, and this, that, and the other thing. Personally, I won't shop there again because of the experience. It's just, you get what you pay for. Whatnot, I don't do Whatnot. I've never done Whatnot. I've signed up for Whatnot. I'm approved to sell on Whatnot, but I've seen that it doesn't really fit my model, so I'm probably not going to be using Whatnot anytime soon. Purple Cactus Sales says, John, can you clarify what your cost of goods are? Are they 50% of sold price, i.e. cost 20, sold for 40? No. If I'm into something for 20 and I'm selling for 40, I'm really upset.
Yeah,
I'm really upset. A lot of times,
we used to do that.
If I'm paying up $20 or more, usually I'll pay up. Like I bought an Onkyo 6 CD changer with remote, with instructions, no scratches, was in beautiful condition, in original retail box. Looks like someone bought it. They took it out. They decided maybe sticker shock. They weren't willing to. Maybe they wanted their, rather have the $300 and they have that in there, whatever. Well, I paid $31 for that, and I think I have it up for like $100. We didn't sell that, did we? The Onkyo? It might be still up in my store, but I think I have it up for like $100. That I'm not even happy with because I paid up $30.
Was the box torn up to shreds?
No, the box is fine.
I don't remember.
So it's just, I know when I pay up for something, I'm going to get usually good money for it. There's times that I pay 30% of what I'm going to get, and I feel really crappy about it. So it just, to me, I've had a model. I don't know if you guys watch my older videos, but I think it kind of still works. It's the 40-40 method. And basically, you don't want to be into something for more than 40% of what you're going to earn, not what you're going to sell it for, but what you're going to earn after fees, because you want to be able to make sure you're earning a good margin off of that item. That's just my thing. It's worked for a lot of people. And there's other videos you can check that's on that topic that I've talked about over the years. Let's see. Who else do we have here today? We got No Bullsh says, I ordered something through eBay. The post office said it was delivered to my mailbox. My mailbox is locked. eBay declined my request. Now what request did you have? That item not received? And it probably will decline because once they show a scan of delivery on that tracking, it doesn't matter, if they delivered it to your front patio, like UPS will deliver it to your front door. If you have a porch pirate and they grab it, then they're gonna do that. Now, okay, my request for a refund, and then I filed a claim with the post office, asked to appeal eBay's ruling. They overturned the ruling and gave me my $40 back. I've never cheated eBay or pulled this type of thing. Unfortunately, though, eBay doesn't take into consideration, account. They'll tell you when you call them on the phone, oh, you've been with us for 20 years. Thank you for your loyalty. I have this situation. Oh, no, you've got to follow the same process as the new guys do, right? So there's no meaning to that. eBay's not going to treat you any differently, unfortunately, even if you have a good track record. Moonmug says, I cap promoted at 15%. My items are low cost but very competitive category. And unfortunately, the more competitive, the more eBay forces you to push up. And I would, consider trying to, what else can I sell that's not going to put you in that position? Unless you're really killing it, and then just keep doing that. Hustle and Grow, Ed says, I've thought about what Jenna said about eBay making promoted listings mandatory. They don't want that pushback, but I think they'll continue to send less traffic to those that don't promote. I think I
think you're right.
They're going to start pushing out the sellers that don't play their game, I think. Yeah. Slowly but surely. I think they've been doing it.
If you're going to play in their sandbox, you need to know the rules.
Yeah, but I think they're going to push people out that refuse to pay up, I think, unfortunately. Let's see. Thomas says, if you take any offers or sending offers using the built-in price shipping, you lose your booty if you do any type of volume, not to mention the returns. Yes. Yeah. I'm not interested in doing free shipping, free returns. I think that's a horrible combo for the type of item I'm selling, because someone gets an item that they spent $30 on a shipping label for, and they say, yeah, I just don't like it, right? No other reason. It works perfectly. So because they didn't like it, they had a buyer's remorse. I'm on the hook for that return label? No. That doesn't work well for me. Let's see. Tommy also says authentication is all about description. If a box is a dent, shoe is overglue, or anything not noted in the description, it's a big chance of not passing. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And like those shoes that we tried to sell, those Air Jordan 1s. Well, they said there's a structural issue. Well, what does that mean? What does
it's
that
a used shoe, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It's a used shoe.
What does
It's
that
not
mean?
going to have any good structure.
Yeah. Josh Evanando says, nice. I thought I was going to miss your live. I'm scanning a pallet of books, taking a break before scanning the books in the bottom of the pallet. Awesome.
Sweet. Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for hanging out with here. And then Hustle and Grow says, Walmart actually tracks seller response time. They give you 48 hours. They want you to stay over 95%. I've never gotten low enough to get into trouble, but low scores affects your buy box chances. I know for a fact that Mercari gives you a badge for a faster, slower, if you respond within a certain amount of time. So why wouldn't eBay? Maybe they don't give you a badge for it, but maybe they're counting it into your account health. And I'm saying maybe because there's no way to know. eBay doesn't talk to us about this. But when you hear things that eBay's starting to implement, it tells me that eBay already knows who's responding to their customers in a timely manner and who's not. MJ says, Yahoo, best sale of the week. Found a vintage Nike Michael Jordan with Spike Lee tee at the Goodwill. I'd like that one of those. Paid $2.99 and it sold for $2.25.
Yes, go MJ.
I like that.
That's awesome.
I'd love to know more about like t-shirts. I would really like to know more about that. I was thinking about that last night.
We were talking to Katie last night about that, and let's see.
We sell everything, right?
Yeah.
So to add that to my arsenal to sell those things, I don't really like selling clothing as just in general. Just like, okay, here's this random t-shirt that may mean nothing to somebody or something to somebody, and I list it. And I got another pair of pants here, you get that listed. But if something has a set value that I can see sold comps for, I'm into that. I want to find more about that. So if you're able to sell something like that, that's a 200 and I don't even know, my math's bad today. That's a huge flip. So good job on that.
That's awesome.
Let's see. David Thompson, use Pirate Ship for all international shipping. I think that's a good idea. John Gaynor says, hi, Jenna and John. Started listing again and have seen sale increase with this being the best August in years.
Yay.
Also watched the sneaker video, and I found over the years you just move on with eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't try to list it again. That's not what we're going to do. We're just going to go to the next pair of shoes, and hopefully we learn as we go, and we're not listing structural issue, I guess. I don't know what that means. Someone said in the comments that it needs to be more of an hourglass shape. I mean, don't we all need to be more of an hourglass shape? But it is what it is.
I mean,
Silver Hair says, but John, you should be the greatest toilet seat seller on Whatnot.
I mean, what crowd is going to Whatnot for a toilet seat?
Someone that's got to go.
I mean,
I don't like the way they're going currently.
I just don't think that Whatnot is a website or a buying platform that people run to.
No. There's people
for certain things. For certain things. I mean, sure, if you're doing a Google search and it comes up, and I mean, I've put in Google searches millions of times, but never has Whatnot came up as a suggested seller.
But I'll have you guys know that, like 3 months ago, I was getting nothing but toilet seats. And okay, fine, I'll be the king of toilet seats for a while. I'm not getting a whole lot of those. I mean, it's kind of like what my availability to find things just happen to be in spurts. So I find, right now, if I can find snow blowers, they're abundant. 3 months. Yeah, the cordless ones that have the battery packs and all that. If right now, I think I would be on to buying those. Whereas 3-4 months ago, when they were actually really one for like dirt cheap, and I was still passing them up. My bad on that. I probably should have bought them and held on to them. But it just things like that. Do I continue buy toilet seats if they come up? It really depends on how many I have in stock and do I want to keep loading up on them. But I'm getting kind of low on the toilet seats. I think we have a few left. Let's see. Historic Publishing says, I see an increase in weird and wacky return requests lately. Yeah, you get your share of them. I had one guy that opened a return request for a missing screw on a lawnmower that I sold him. And then I reached out and he's like, no, it's no problem. I just picked up one for $2. So then why open the return request? I don't know. 1 Foot Flipper is with us. Thanks for being here. What's going on, everyone? And also says, sell things with specific names and then you don't have to promote. Well, when you say sell things with specific names, I'm not quite sure what that means. If you're selling one-of-a-kind items, you don't have to promote, I guess. But if you have, it's all about, forget the title, forget the name, forget all that. What is your competition? Promoted listings are about one thing, competing, okay? You have no one to compete with. Why would you give eBay more money to sell that item? Just wait for the right person to come by and grab it and don't promote. But if you are stuck consistently on page 2 plus whatever, then you need to figure out, well, maybe it's because I'm not promoting this item. And that if your interest is in selling it over principal and holding on to that extra 2 to 3% that you'd be giving eBay, then that's going to prevent you from selling the item until we talk about the unicorn buyer that comes along. Trail Ahead says, what do you think of online retail arbitrage? For example, I bought some high-end clothing pieces for around $60 each when they're usually around $130. People do it all the time. Some people have a knack for it. It's not my thing, but I can see, I've come across many times when I'm doing research on stuff I'm thinking about buying that sold comps. There's a sold comp for $5 on this item. It normally sells for $100. Someone jumped on someone's ignorance. Someone didn't take the time to do the research. They figured, it's like when you go to a yard sale, how much for this? $1. Wow, thing's worth $100. They don't know. Otherwise, they try to sell it to you for more than that. Yeah. Scott Bates says, are you two going to the reseller rally? Yes, we will be there in Cincinnati on the 30th. That is the dinner cruise, and it's going to be hosted by Craigslist Hunter, Pete. We got Cincinnati Picker, and we have Kevin Commonwealth Flipper, and it's going to be a good time. Hopefully you can make it there. I can't
wait. I'm excited.
Let's see. Liz Shirley says, Etsy gives you 24 hours to respond to a buyer's question. If you don't respond within the 24 hours, you get dinged.
Yeah.
I
think that's fair.
Reasonable. I think some people would still struggle with that. Especially, those of us who just don't look at our phone. I think that's why you need to have that app on your phone. Maybe you're busy. I get it. But if they give us 24 hours, then we can say, okay, look, finish what I'm doing. I'm going to go and check my messages, my account later.
Get into a common practice of it.
Undercover Treasure Hunter says, finally caught alive. Hi, guys. Been bringing your lives all day. Binging.
Binging.
I think that's B-I-N-G.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. Your lives all day. Appreciate your content. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for testing my lack of grammar skills. But thank you for being here, too.
Everybody does that.
I know, it's fun. Tommy says, you have to know clothing to sell clothing. If you have no clue on trends, you're toast. Not hard to make good living on clothes. It's not. And then you hit it right on the head there. You got to know what you're doing. And I think it's one of those things where, you stick to selling everything that sells well, and maybe on the side, you start getting your clothing gets your attention. Maybe you gravitate towards a specific niche within the clothing market and learn about it. And as you learn, you maybe build a niche store that way. But I would never dream of saying, okay, I'm going to ditch what I'm doing. I'm going to start going for t-shirts now. I would fall flat on my face. 1 Foot Flipper says, I'm usually never on page 2 because I almost always have the best price, except on records, and pricing those is more magic than anything else. It's more magic than anything else, yeah.
I know.
So, yeah, I agree with that.
I just can't stand when magic and eBay are put together.
It's a magical experience, this eBay thing, I tell you.
Get the
James Chapman says, I did promoted listings and now sold eBay, made a killing off me. Now I took promoted listings off and have only sold 3 items in the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, eBay made a killing off of you, but that's because you were able to make sales. Okay, so you paid more in your final value fees, of course, but I'm sure you got more in your bank account. And that's the number one thing. How can I get these items and convert them into cash in my bank account? Forget everything in between. The goal is list and get the money. Okay, so if taking a stand over 3% is going to keep you from the last part, making the money, because you know that it's worth more, you want more money, you don't want to give anything to eBay or any more to eBay, then I think that's costing you some money, I think, if I'm just being honest. Baubles, Blings, and Needful Things says, yay, not over yet. Glad to see you guys. Jenna, lovely as ever. John, you're okay.
Aww,
awesome.
Thank you.
That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever said about me, that I'm okay. All right. Let's see. David Thompson says, I want to go to the reseller rally, but I heard it's sold out. Yeah. Didn't get a reservation in time. Well, you always stand a chance of maybe catching a ticket that might due to cancellation. Maybe hit up Cincinnati Picker on Instagram, and he might.
Yeah, Kevin also mentioned on one of his videos that he was quite possibly going to set up like either before the cruise get together or after the cruise. I don't know when that would be, but that looked kind of like just like a meetup.
You know what would be kind of cool? Ashley is saying, come visit Louisville while you're in Cincinnati.
Oh God, I would love.
But that's like a 2 to 3 hour drive. But yeah, I would like to maybe say let's if there's anyone that's going to be in that area, maybe we say let's all meet up at a certain time and hit the yard.
That would be Sunday. So cool. I've never been to Louisville, and I'm so want to be.
Yeah, but not this time. Not this time. I've been to Louisville.
You've been to more places than
I've been to Louisville for the Kentucky Derby. That was awesome.
Well, whatever. I didn't get that invite.
Yeah. Idea Pads is, does anyone know Craigslist Hunter's secret reason for not having an eBay store? I wasn't aware that he didn't have an actual store. For me, it's for me the reason's obvious why I have a store. It's because I can have the markdown sales and the coupons. I think the public coupon is certainly a game changer. To tell your buyer who's already in your listing that they can save an additional 10, 20, whatever number you put percent on whatever already has attracted them to the listing, and they're already on the fence of buying your item, and then that extra 10% is going to put a lot of people over the edge. So I personally like it myself. Let's see. I think Tommy said something. I pay $1.5 to $2K per month in promoted fees, and that gets me $15,000 to $20,000 per month in sales, an average of $15 more per sale than top 2 competitors. I'll promote till the cows come home. Right. It just is you're giving up more money to eBay, but you're getting more money from these sales, right? You're making more money. Okay. That's just the bottom line. And I think if we do the math and figure out, we make 3%, we give eBay 3% more in fees.
Sorry, guys.
But we're getting a lot more from all these sales, you're going to find that you're going to be a lot happier as a seller, making a lot more sales and getting a lot more volume. And that's what it's about. I think a lot of people lose sight of what we're actually doing this for, unfortunately. David says, I promote all my items and I have daily sales. If I don't promote, I don't have daily sales. I agree with that. And let's see. Dana Leslie, 24, has said Louisville. Yes. I think that's how the locals pronounce it. Thomas says, Pete doesn't have a store. He doesn't promote or do offers. He gets amazing stuff. He does get amazing stuff. We get one-of-a-kind stuff. Remember, he has a brick and mortar. He can also move that stuff in his store, no problem. And I don't know, maybe he waits for it to sit in the store for a while before he lists it. I don't know if he does that or not. I'd like to know. I'm going to pick his brain when I see him, though, next month. Let's see. Anytime Picker says, Archie told me that if I want to meet him, I will need to have a sticker with me. That's funny. So guess what, guys? We made pretty good time today. We're an hour and 39 minutes. Real quick, Bobbles and Bling says something. I desperately wanted a ticket. They sold out damn fast because of Kevin shouting about it in the show. But at that time, he said they'd keep some of his giveaways closer to it. Never heard anything since.
Just keep watching out for it, because I know he mentioned on one of his last videos that he was gonna be doing something. I don't know what it is, or what he's got up his sleeve, but
yeah. The problem is if you wait too long though to give away, people have a harder time to get to the event. I mean, airfare.
And we're going to be going yard sailing too, so I don't know if we'll be doing that the morning of or maybe the day after. But we could always meet up with you guys there.
Yeah,
I mean,
love to maybe
I'd love to meet you guys.
Everyone, maybe at a certain time, let's meet up somewhere for breakfast and just have some breakfast and then go and check out the town and what kind of yard sales there are. I have no problem setting that up if we get enough people that say, hey, I'm in the area. I'd be glad to come down and meet up. I'd love to meet people.
Could do like a little brunch thing the next day because we're not flying out until late at night on Sunday.
They are, right. We're getting there Friday, I think around noon or 1 o'clock, and then we have that evening to hang out. And then Saturday during the day, we're doing yard sales. That Saturday night, we're going to the cruise. And then Sunday, we have like a good portion of the day.
Yeah, we have the whole rest of the day before we have to be back at the airport. Carol, you are my friend, not just in your head, but in your heart.
We'll get there. James Chapman says, what do you all recommend as promoted listing fee? I will turn it back on after hearing you guys. I would say if you haven't promoted and you're just wanting to get your feet wet, start at 3%. Avoid the 2% trap. If you notice no uptick in the number of sales you get or impressions, because of course that doesn't mean you're going to get sales, then bump it up to 5 and then give it a couple weeks and keep bumping it up. And draw a line, whatever that number is. For me, it's 10%. And I'm certain, if anything, you're going to get more traffic, but then it's on you. Do you have a good enough item to convert that traffic into sales? Shalami says, great live, guys. Jenna, make sure you keep that Baker's t-shirt safe.
And he wants to, if your name was Smith, he can't even get Smith, and then, can't even get Baker or Biker right.
He said Baker right there. Carol C says, Jenna is my friend in my head. Well, no, all of you are our friends.
You're always our friend.
You know what? That's a good place to kind of leave it. The fact that you guys come here and hang out with us for an hour and a half to 2 hours, usually closer to 2 hours, consistently, whether you chat or not, whether you're just watching us while you work or whatever, I consider each and every one of you, even though I've never maybe met more than 95% of the people in the chat or watching, because that you take the time to be here with us. The fact
you are our friends.
Yes, the fact that you're just taking time you could be doing anything else, but you're watching this Yahoo and my lovely wife just chat.
He was on the verge.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple of Yahoos. I said I said the accurate statement. The fact that you're doing that is just awesome to us, and it means more than we can ever say. Here on this live.
You guys are family. Flipping ain't easy. Family.
Yes, it's the community that. I used to, when we first started doing these lives, I'm like, I really don't enjoy these lives. I mean, we're getting maybe 10 to 15 people, 20 people, but it's watching us build the community, and with your help, just building the number of people that watch these and contribute to these conversations. It's awesome. It's something that I look forward to, and I'm kind of disappointed on days when we can't do it. We're out and about, but it's fun, and we enjoy the time.
I kind of wish we could go live while we were driving to New Mexico, but that's just not going to happen. Who knows what kind of service we're going to have? Then you guys are going to get pissed off because the service is coming in and out. We don't want. We're not
doing anything like that. But we will see you guys here on Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I want you guys to get listing, make those sales, make the money, convert those listings into money. That's all it's about. Promoted listings is just another tool and way to get your items in front of your competition. You're competing here, guys. You're competing for the money that these buyers have, and you want it to end up in your bank account. And promoting your items, maybe 3%, ain't going to kill you guys. If you're selling, if 3% is going to kill you, you guys need to do something different. Okay. But figuring that out is another example of how flipping ain't easy. And have a great weekend, guys. We will see you, each and every one of you, here on Monday.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.